Hello, it's Vidas Pinkevicius, and in this video I will try to explain why it is important for any organist to understand the ways that various intervals are constructed and resolved. Well, the very important reason for understanding this is, of course, that intervals make up chords, right? Several pitches combined together make up 3-note or 4-note or 5-note chords. And when you learn several intervals which are basically 2 notes combined, right? Then this theoretical knowledge will basically transfer to the practical application, especially when you try to build and resolve some 3-note chords or 4-note chords, for example. Well, for example, let's take the interval of major second, F and G. We are in C major, right? And if you look at C major, G is a 5th scale degree and it's constant. But F is unstable pitch and 4th scale degree, and it moves either down to the 3rd scale degree or up to the 5th scale degree normally. But in this major second F G, it only goes downward to E G. This is the only resolution, because there is this rule that seconds cannot be resolved to the narrower interval like unison. It can only expand to the 3rd or to the 4th, basically. And some people really have a hard time to understand why you should know these intricate details, right? You could only play some beautiful organ music and be content. But I'm trying to argue that this knowledge, when you know that major second FG resolves to EG, is easily transferable to this chord, right? This is dominant 4/2 chord, F, G, B, and D, also built from the 4th scale degree, and major second is the lowest interval, right? And its resolution is E, G, C, and C, because B resolves upward to C and D resolves downward to C, right? So that's the practical application, basically, of this major second is basically especially evident when you build this dominant 4/2 chord. So it's also a little theoretical, right? We build separate chords, dominant 4/2 and others, right? But when you look at organ music, right, at any organ piece of any major organ composer who was living in the Baroque, in the classical period, in the Romantic era, we call this period common practice period, basically from 1600 until 1900s about. So in any piece you can see these chords, in any given piece, at any given moment, almost, you can see these chords, and in many chords you can see these seconds too, resolved correctly. Right. For example, when you look at sonatas by Beethoven, that's not necessarily the organ piece, but Beethoven would never use this chord and resolve to this. FG resolved to unison, GG. It doesn't happen. It happened this way, E, G, C, C. So, although it is really a theoretical part, right, of harmony and music theory, but the way we apply it in practice is quite practical, and it's obviously very applicable in improvisation. When you know these intervals, when you know these chords and chord progressions, you can really create beautiful musical ideas and connect them together, which really make up nice shorter or longer organ compositions and improvisations. So basically, this theoretical knowledge enriches your musicality, basically. If you know these intervals, major seconds or any other intervals, you will start to notice them, you will start to discover them in real life organ compositions. And more than that, you can start building your own trying your own techniques and try to your own musical ideas on the keyboard, and you will discover that you can also create, just like these composers did in the past or in the present. You can also build up your creativity by creating either on paper or on the instrument, at the instrument, simple or more advanced melodies or harmonies. Whatever the case is, whatever your level of advancement is, your level might be very modest, right? Your skills might be very modest. But if you can build up from that, you will definitely advance with time, and your creativity and skills will become more advanced by as a result of that. And you will, of course, play with more musicality and more theoretical understanding also, because you will notice how the piece is put together. So basically, my main answer to this simple theoretical question, why do we learn the basics and elements of music, like intervals and chords and scales and modes, right? These things, why do we learn them as organists, right? It's very simple, because we want to know how the pieces are constructed. We want to know what composer was thinking when he or she created that piece. That's the idea. And more than that, we also want to try our hand at improvisation and composition, even though you might not have this wish today, because you might think, oh, it's only for the great people and for geniuses, right? But let me tell you this. If you just try your hand at simple exercises that I'm offering from time to time, you will discover that it's not as complicated and complex as it might appear at first. And you can build up on that. You can start improvising from one note, C, right? Or two notes, C and D, and C, D, and E. Later on, you can add up a little bit week after week. The most important thing is your, probably I would say, curiosity to discover new things in theory and in practice, and apply them, especially apply them, take action and apply them in practice. Whatever you encounter in your musical pieces, right, in compositions, you playing great pieces by organ composers, whatever you encounter, you can remember these fragments, right, beautiful ideas, and you can practice them at the keyboard in various keys, transpose them and memorize, and then later you can digest them and reuse them in your own creative endeavors and adventures, I would say. So this is my short or so not too short answer to this theoretical question, and I hope you will pursue your creativity and musical theory studies along with organ playing. That's very beneficial. Okay? See you next time. Bye-bye.